Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Theria, I see that you're here. You got your reminder. Thank goodness. I'm glad that you are here tonight. I am going to be sure that my phone is on mute. Well, yeah, that my YouTube is on mute. I'll turn my media down, but I want to be sure that the stream is going well. So I'm just going to keep my phone playing here so that we can be sure that everybody can see us and we're looking good. Let's see, we're going to give it about 5 minutes, let some people come in, and then you all will see the very special guest who you've already seen a little something about in the community tab. I know a lot of people were excited and looking forward to this show. And so I'm excited too. I've been excited. And let's see. Oh, you know what? I do hear a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure. Y'all tell me how y'all are hearing everything. Thank you, Theria. Hi, thank you for being here. Brenda, thank you for being here today. Let's see who else we have. American Copperhead is in the house. Thank you. My first member to make it in the stream. Let me just put y'all up here. Thank you. Let me know how the sound is, how we are looking, and we're going to go on and go forth with the stream. Let's see. Hey, Unite Ray 365. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Brenda, did I say hi to you? Thank you for coming in. I so appreciate you. Let's see. I just want to be sure I don't have any other audio playing. No. Okay, good. All right. And let's see. So yeah, y'all know. How's everybody doing today? Y'all having a good Thursday? Hi, American Copperhead. Wow, wasn't that a crazy member stream that we had last night? Woo! Hey, Merlot Vines, how are you doing? Let's see, you're not right 365. We got some people in the house. Y'all ready to see what's going on with Wendy? Y'all ready to get some mental health tips from our professional? And I don't blame you. I need some myself. Let's see here. Merlot Vines, it's nice to see you back in here. How are you doing? Yeah, man, that stream was crazy last night. The dogs are fine. They're in here getting on my nerves, Brenda. We got to give it about 2.5 more minutes and then we will get on with the get on. Y'all, that is for while we're waiting for that 5 minutes to pass. And DeShara, that's how we always do it here. We always give everybody about 5 minutes to come in and then we start the stream, start it for real. Let's see. Oh, hi, Marietta. Now, Marietta's saying that that we sound a little muffled. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, now let me see something right quick. I'm gonna just mute you even though you're not talking. Hold up. You can't. Okay. Oh, she's already muted herself. Okay. How is the sound right now? Because this might be one of those streams where we might have to mute ourselves when the other one is talking. That might be what we're going to do for this one. I'm not sure. But thank you for letting me know, Marietta, and thank you for being here. Let's see here. Lisa, my second member to come in. Okay, you got the stuff that I sent. Great. Okay, so yes, one of my member perks. So y'all, I'm just saying, you know, if y'all want to enjoy my membership, you get some good girl gossip for sure that we didn't even plan on doing all that. But my members get my hair growth oil and my hair growth sprays and stuff. And so, yeah, my members get that. And y'all, okay, I'm just going to do just the intro with my crown because we have a professional in the house and she might be using this for something professional. And I don't want her thinking, or I don't want her colleagues thinking that, you know, she probably should have been giving advice to me while we were on this stream. Hi, Petty Betty. Thank you for coming. We got a new watcher in the house. Okay, so, and Brenda says it sounds better. So we'll just, DeShara, if you don't mind, we'll mute while, you know, the other one is talking. Okay, sounds better. I got it. Because I was hearing a little bit of an echo, but I don't know. Y'all know sometimes I'm still trying to work it all out. Okay, my tiara is a little... I think that, okay, this is the last time that y'all are going to see my tiara here. If y'all come tomorrow, I'll be on Jay's channel for the Friday Fuzz. I'll be on with Jay Moore Reviews tomorrow night. And we're going to be talking about a little bit of everything. So thank y'all. Oh, hey, let's see here. We got more people coming in. Y'all want to get this Wendy Williams tea and y'all want to get some mental health advice. And I'm here for all of it. Let me see now. Why can't I'm trying to get to the new comments. Let's see here. Let me hide this one from Petty Betty. Thank you for coming, Petty Betty. We always appreciate a new watcher. another members in the house, Wings and Mumbo Sauce, definitely gave us some information that we needed last night. Okay, September 25th, Libra Gang. That's what I'm talking about. I'm October 1st. And so we are past the 5-minute mark. So let me say, you guys, this woman we have with us, this is DeShara C. Doub with us. She is the woman who all of you said when she came to the live stream, when I did I was trying to do the follow-up on Breonna Taylor. This is the woman who was there, who was giving us the firsthand information. And a lot of you were saying that you all love this woman's voice. This woman's voice is so powerful. She sounds like she needs to be running for Congress or something. Who is she? She needs to be on a talk show or something. So this is her. This is her. And she is a mental health specialist. We needed her last Thursday night, didn't we? If y'all was here, y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, she's here with us today. And what we're going to talk about is Wendy Williams. And just from a mental health point of view, not just the usual judgmental point of view that y'all get from me every time I get up here and talk about anything. And just, y'all are going to get from a mental health professional's point of view what might be going on with Wendy, just from some things that we've been seeing. But this woman, she's a dynamic woman. She has her own YouTube channel, and I'm going to share that link with you all right now. She does a lot of panel talk on her channel too. And I know that kind of the live streaming thing has picked up in popularity. So I am putting the link into the chat right now. Okay, that's highlighted in yellow. That's from me and my moderators. If y'all will pick that up and share that from time to time in the stream so that people can go to her channel. Hold up, everything now. I won't cut off my guest when she's speaking, but when I'm speaking and I get some money, everything stops when the money comes in. So thank you very much, Unite Ray 365. Y'all know I will never ask you for your money, but I sure will take it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the $5. You got 5 on it, and now I have 5 on it. Well, more like $3 and some change on it, because y'all know YouTube gets their third off the top. But I surely do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the money. And I get to keep it all because this is not Sunday Fun Day and we are not playing any games in here today. So let me say a couple more hellos. Hello to Lady Yana. Thank you for coming in. And hello to Lakeisha. I think I said hello. If I haven't said hello to you, let me know, because I'm not trying to be rude. But at this time, I'm going to take a step back. We're going to bring up our guest. And again, her name is DeShara C. Doub. I'm sorry, DeShara C. Doub. And y'all have seen her in the stream before. When she comes in the stream, if y'all are thinking, wait, no, I haven't seen her, I don't remember that name. She's here as Music Lady DD when she's watching YouTube, but she does have her own YouTube channel and she uses the identity separately. Okay, well, hello. We got some international love in the house from Kita. Thank you, from Guyana. Okay, Guyana. Hello, Guyana. Thank you for representing the international love. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to shut my mouth and y'all are going to now be in the hands of the dynamic Pan-Hellenic sister of mine, Miss DeShara C. Doub. And I'm going to, she's going to unmute herself and I'm going to mute my mic.
Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Happy pre-Friday. That's what I always call Thursday, because I'm ready for the weekend every week on this time. So I want to thank Ty so very much. I am a huge fan. I was sharing with her before the stream how I kind of got introduced to her channel through the Bobby Womack documentary. So if you all have not watched that yet, go ahead and watch it, because I'm telling you, if you are an old school fan like myself, you are going to absolutely giggle. So I am so super excited to be here, and I promise I won't be super serious, but we're going to get into some things for sure.
So I'm going to try to unmute and y'all let me know if y'all are getting feedback or something. But so let's go on and get into Wendy Williams. We have any Wendy Williams fans in the house, or just people who know what Wendy Williams or know what's going on? Okay, I see Sweet Brown Sugar 504. That's my New Orleans girl. Hello, how are you doing? New Orleans ladies in the house. We have this thing going on, Wendy Williams, and I see a good question, and maybe we don't even need maybe we don't need DeShara here. Is it karma or is it substance abuse? What do y'all think about that? I mean, Wendy Williams has made quite a living and quite a lot of money talking about everybody else's business, talking about everybody else's substance abuse, talking about everybody else's, relationships that have failed, and giving advice for people's marriages that have gone wrong and when they need to move on or whatever. So maybe that's what it is. So I want to say first, before I move on, hello to DeShana, hello to Miss Dominique, and hello to Miss Dee, who is not a fan of Wendy Williams, period. Okay, just to make it clear in case you were wondering. So let me first, you guys, I told DeShara that I wanted to show some clips because maybe some of us have not seen what's going on with Wendy Williams. So I have a couple of just 3 clips really that I prepared for you all tonight. So if you all will give me a moment, I'm going to bring these up and I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that y'all can see this. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm going to share my entire screen and let me bring this up. My downloads. Okay. All right.
Costume contest. We do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
Okay, so to me, what is really eerie about that is the fact that that happened last year for her Halloween show. And so here we are again. It's that time of year, and we're seeing these same types of weird things going on with Wendy Williams. So I thought that that was something that was odd. And I don't know if maybe there's something about this time of the year that's really hard for her. Maybe because of everything that was going on with her husband around this time of the year last year, that this is now going to be one of those, people talk about seasonal depression and things like that. So I'm going to mute my mic after I say hello to Cocoa Butter Barbie. Thank you for coming in. And I'm going to ask DeShara if she has any thoughts on that. And then we'll go on to the next clip. And also, let me go on and do this. I'm going to put the invite in the for the stream in case you all want to come up and give your thoughts, or maybe you have some questions for our guest. But I want to hear what she has to say about my thoughts on that. I could be completely wrong, but I'm muting right now.
It's funny when you mention that because I feel like that maybe a few shows prior to the one you just showed, she was talking about how she was starting to get hot flashes. And so a part of me is wondering, because of studio lights and then also, of course, all the stuff she was going through, if it wasn't just maybe exhaustion or heat, some type of heat, whatever. But yeah, I do think that that's kind of odd too, because, Wendy definitely, turns up for Halloween. I mean, for as far as I can remember, she's always been very elaborate and have never had those. I love the crown. Listen, I love it because it's your birthday month. I love it. Yes. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it was mentioned about some karma. I could definitely see that as well. But I just think that that's very interesting. It's almost like when she started stuttering and not being able to pronounce words correctly. I think somebody also thought it was a stroke at one point in time too, when that clip came out. So I think it could possibly be maybe a combination of just the heat in the studio. She said that costume was really hot, so who knows? It could be dehydration, maybe some remnants of her previous abuses of the powdered sugar. It could be a couple different things, but I mean that's my theory.
Okay. Well, then that's what we have from last year. But let's go on and take a look. Now, this is just from her show from last Friday, right? So let's take a look. This is just her walking in, you guys. I have just some short clips, and I want to get a mental health professional to analyze and if you all want to come up and tell us what your thoughts are on what y'all think is going on. See, we got some somebody liking the powdered sugar comment there. But let me. I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll go on. We'll go on. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to share the entire screen and bring up my downloads. All right. Yeah, so what y'all think about that? What did y'all think about that? Let me bring up our. Oh, okay, I can't. Okay, DeShara, I'm handing it over to you. What did you think? Because I'm looking at her. She doesn't even appear to be able to walk. On a flat surface. What's going on?
Bless her heart. I'm just sitting here like, Lord bless her heart, because she on national TV stumbling in that manner. It almost looks like, when your foot falls asleep, like if you like sitting incorrectly and you try to walk, it almost look like that. But that could be some remnants of some evening activity she had night before that didn't get out her system good before 10 o'clock. Bless her heart, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold up. Hi, King Lab Music. Now, King Lab Music says it was a demon in the studio. Yeah, you know what? Anything is possible at this point is kind of the way I see it. But that was odd. Okay, so this is the last clip that I have. And then we're just going to let the mental health professional take over it from here. We'll talk, we'll engage. But last clip, and this is again just from the beginning of the show. It was just like, and the behavior got progressively worse as the show went on. And I promise y'all, these clips, these are all from the clips that I took were from the first 5 minutes of the show. So let's see. Let's share one last time my entire screen and bring up my downloads. Okay. Oh, shoot. Let me do it like this. Hold up. Let me do it another way, you guys. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to bring up another tab and go in here and share it. And if y'all hear the pitter pattering of little feet, that's my annoying ass dogs. Okay, let's. They're just doing the most. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share this with y'all. Okay, tell me what y'all think about this.
It's a jumpsuit with pockets and Air Max. Flick me. Go, Mark. Go, Rambo. Go. Go. I got on Wolford tights.
And okay, did y'all notice how swollen her ankle appeared to be? What's going on with that? I'm gonna bring up our DeShara. What do you think? I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. And hi, Lord Flakati.
I'm wondering if she has water retention.
Hmm.
You know how like the mothers of the church ankle swell like that. That's what I was thinking when I saw it. I mean, it could be a lot of different things because, mind you, I'm not a medical professional, so I'm having some theories here on the of what is actually like physical ailment is wrong with her. But I definitely think there's something going on. But maybe she needs her water pill. Maybe she ate too much salt or something.
Did you say the mothers of the church have those swollen ankles?
Now, I respect my elders. So if there's anybody on here that has some type of ailment of that sort, I apologize. However, I'm sure that you all have experienced that where they have like the little nursing shoes on, like maybe like the Nurses Guild or something like that, where they have like the white tights on, and it's just that top of the foot, ankle, lower leg combination, just expands, maybe on the first and the third Sunday or something.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing, because you called it the church lady problem. Because, okay, y'all, for those of you who watch Real Housewives of Potomac, Giselle, good looking woman, right up there with Vanessa Williams in her heyday. But Giselle has those church lady legs. They're Color Me Pink calls her church lady legs, and I'm like, she does. And when Karen calls her stovepipe legs, and Giselle's not an overweight woman or anything, and Wendy's not either. But they and I was like, oh my god, is it a church thing? Is it like from sitting in the pews too long? Like, is something? Do they need to redesign the pews and make them more ergonomically, available? Anyway, that's what clicked in my head. I was like, oh, Giselle has the same thing. Like, oh my god, like she has those church lady legs. Okay, but anyway, I'm listening now. But y'all know I'm talking about. Like, Giselle's not a bad looking woman at all. But I do want to hear though. You heard how she's talking. You hear how she's talking, Wendy. You see how she's looking. There's this dead look in the eye. What are you able to tell us just from what you can see? It's not like you sat down in a counseling session with her, but what can you tell
So one thing I think it is important to recognize is for those of you that have been familiar with Wendy Williams for years, you know that she had a previous substance abuse issue that she made public. Now, is she still doing substances? Who knows? Is she having some telltale signs that something is going on and it might be on the realm of relapse? Absolutely. And I know she mentioned about being in sober living. It might have been late last year, but she never specified what she was in sober living for. So I'm kind of wondering about that. But I think it could be a combination of health conditions. So, we mentioned about, she's had, and I can't recall what the actual condition is called when you have swollen legs. I'm like, kidding about, typically older women have that, but like with water retention and stuff, typically people have that. And then she has Graves' disease and things of that nature. So if someone has had a history of substance use, it will eventually kind of catch up with you in different ways, right? So it can show up where, later on in life, you don't have like the brain capacity you once did. So you can, like what you talk about, the speech. I mean, but slurred speech can also mean a stroke. It could also mean like some other health conditions that I'm not familiar with because I'm not a medical doctor, by the way. But I definitely think that I don't think she's taking care of herself for sure. And I think that with all the stress that she's been that has been going on in her life, at least that we've been exposed to publicly, I think a combination of all those things can absolutely impact you in a physical way. And I'm sure many of us, if we have had any stress or anxiety, if we're depressed, if we're having any type of like mental health concerns, most of the time you can tell that by like your physical. So for example, most times when people are depressed, they can't upkeep their house. So if you go home and it just seems like scattered all over the place, a lot of times that could be a representative of what's going on in your head or what's going on in your thoughts. So I almost think that it can definitely be some physical stuff for sure, but I think that it's kind of biting her about the substance use issue. And she's been kind of eating a little odd recently too, because I remember at one point in time, I think she was vegetarian or vegan. I don't know if you all remember that in the chat. But now, if you like follow her on Instagram, you know, she's eating all types of stuff. She's going to get cheesesteaks. She's doing all types of stuff. And I don't know if Kelvin or her ex-husband, I don't know if he was the one that turned her on to be to live that type of dietary lifestyle. But a lot of times when people switch over their nutrition in that major way, a lot of times if you don't fill your body up with the nutrition that it needs, along with other stuff, it can definitely, you know, cause some issues too.
Got you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's a lot that I did not know about it. I didn't know that Wendy was ever vegetarian or vegan. I stopped watching Wendy Williams a long time ago. And I do remember, you know, when I would watch her, she would talk about preparing different meals. And I believe I knew her to be a meat eater. So I didn't know that she had made a switch to vegetarianism or veganism. And I will say that, like, I know that I would be sick. I'm vegetarian for a few years now. And I know I'd be sick if I went to all of a sudden, you know, eating meat, you know, like that would just like ruin it for me. I know I'd be like done. Hi, Adelina. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. But but what I'm wondering though, really, is Wendy working too hard? It looks like Wendy at the very least needs a break. Now it seems like she needs a lot more than that. And I don't know how sober living works, but you know, is it something you can just go in and out of? Is that how it works typically? Or so I'm curious to know about that.
So from my experience, there's two different types. So you can be like an outpatient, which it sounds like that she might have had like some remnants of, but she mentioned being able to leave for work and go back. So she might have had some type of inpatient arrangement. So typically when people do outpatient, they'll just go to groups, you know, or just have like some type of therapy, but they can go home. So I'm thinking when she mentioned about how much she had to engage with outside of the show, I'm thinking she might have been an inpatient, but you know, we will never know because that's, you know, something that she made private. But I would definitely say, and I recall when she actually made the announcement, she said, you know, she's kind of living like everybody else. You know, they're not making any type of special accommodations for her other than she just leaving for work, which can be typical in some type of treatment facilities. But I definitely don't think a lot of people sleep because I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these facilities, you know, you have people that are homeless. You know, you have people that have had, you know, various amounts of substance issues for extended periods of time. A lot of people have what's called, we call it SMI in the mental health field, but severe mental illness. So anything from like bipolar, schizoaffective, which we call like a dual diagnosis. So they have substance use as well as a severe mental illness. So all those people combined can be in a sober living facility. So if you can imagine somebody like being manic in the middle of the night and they screaming and throwing stuff or whatever, I mean, that's going to interrupt the entire house. You're having to eat whatever they prepare for you. Whether you want to participate or not, you're going to have to get up for groups. And so I think that could have been, I would think that that's challenging. I would never want anybody to be in that type of position. But I do know that because Wendy is very prideful, I can't imagine a celebrity being in like a regular sober living situation where you could possibly have people that know who you are. Because I think that will also block you from really being honest and really engaging in treatment. That's my theory. But, you know, she said that she was, you know, fully engaging with it. But I definitely feel like the way that she's been very secretive about the stuff that's been going on, despite the fact that the whole world know about Kelvin and Sharita and they baby. You know, I think that there might be some things that she's hiding, including the fact that she might still be on substances or have relapsed.
Right. Got you. Okay. Now here's a good question. And if you all have any questions and you'll want to come up and speak to our guest, please join the stream. I'm going to put the invitation in one more time, but we have a lady. Move, Indy, my crazy dog. Okay, we have a lady asking, this is Summer Rain. She's asking, so can drug use cause mental illness or is it a form of mental illness?
Yeah, so substance abuse can be diagnosed, and there are people that have definitely decline mentally due to substance use. I can't definitively say because it can be very different depending on the person, but I have known people, and I mean you could kind of comment on this in the chat, but a lot of times if people go through traumatic experiences, they can all of a sudden completely shift, and you like they're not even the person that I remember them to be. Like they could become disabled, they can no longer like function, they can have a complete crisis. So whether it's a one-time event or substance use, that type of behavior can change depending on, of course, the person's family history, their health, of course, what type of substances or abuses that they're having. But I know there was mentioned too, and Wendy didn't mention it herself, but I'm an avid YouTube watcher, so I know it was mentioned as well that she might have been physically abused. I know that's allegedly, but I
I've
have
heard
heard
that as
that,
well.
yeah, like I've heard that her husband have had some bouts of being physical with her. So if you can imagine, if somebody's being psychologically, abused mentally, and then they're also physically being abused as well as engaging in substances, all that could be catastrophic. So I would say that it can kind of depend, but I have seen both instances where, someone has been a substance user and it has subsequently affected their mental health or vice versa.
Right. Okay. Thank you for letting us know that. Let's see. We got Theria saying that if she could just bust a cap in Kelvin's ass, that she would probably feel a whole lot better. And now she's saying that jokingly. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure, like with a little bit of honesty to it too, because let's talk about that. Kelvin took her through a lot. I'm not a fan of Wendy Williams, but I don't want to ever see any woman go through publicly or even privately what Wendy Williams had to go through with her husband, flaunting this woman around, pregnant, new car, house right down the street from where we live. I mean, like disrespected her in every way possible that a man could. And hi, Alethea, I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in. And I see someone, Rashida Libra saying you're on point, DeShara. But is that something like that, a marriage ending badly, is that something that could drive someone to a point of mental illness or to some kind of mental breaking point?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you could definitely have a nervous breakdown. And I almost feel like that kind of was the beginnings of what we saw on the show particularly. But absolutely, if somebody's been married with someone for 20 years, and for some of you all that are familiar with her story, she had numerous miscarriages, and the time that she was pregnant with her only son, she was on bed rest the entire time she was pregnant, still trying to do the radio show and things like that. So this was like early 90s. So I mean, I think that absolutely has a psychological effect on people. I mean, if you think about, a woman maybe not feeling like that her body's going against her by all these miscarriages, and you're having to take really extreme measures and you're still having to work. Because the other thing too, and y'all gonna have to forgive me because my mouth is bad, but
We're fine with that here.
Oh, thank you. One thing with Kelvin, and I'll say Kelvin because apparently that's his legal name. One thing with him that has kind of rubbed me the wrong way, again, from what we can see publicly, is the fact that he never worked. So like it's like he kind of was coming on the come up because of him being married to her. And I can remember, and I haven't really watched Wendy recently either because it's hard to watch. But for those of y'all that remember her back in the 90s when she was getting into Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, some of these other situations that's happened on the radio, I definitely think that for sure some karma is coming back. But I think it's kind of interesting at the beginning, when all this was going on. I think that the fact that Kelvin was also I think he was like an executive producer at one point in time too. So you talk about whatever's going on at home is subsequently happening at work. And then I know that there was some folks that were, kind of having, mentioning about maybe some possible abuses that was happening at work too. So imagine someone that is controlling. That's what I feel like that could have happened in her relationship too. She was in an abusive relationship in a sense of had the power and control dynamics. She had somebody that was probably encouraging her substance use, possibly. I know she mentioned that she got off of substances. I think she mentioned either when because of her pregnancy or because of her husband. I can't remember the dynamics, but she had a whole lot going on. So I definitely will say for sure divorce can have an impact on somebody, particularly if you're with them for 20 years and they solely are relying on you for income. Case in point, what happened with the alimony.
Okay, thank you. Let me say hi to Tammy, and someone else came in. I'm sorry. I tried to say hi to everybody. Rhonda, thank you for coming and subbing. I appreciate that. And Rashida, Libra, thank you. Another Libra in the house. Okay, so I've never liked the idea of her husband. I don't like here's one thing I do not like: seeing successful women, and it's a trend that I tend to see with successful Black women, but I do see other groups of women do it. And Tammy, did I say hi to Tammy? Hi, Tammy, if I didn't. But successful Black women marrying the help. Basically, they marry these men who they hire to become their managers, and it's like, okay, so what was he doing before he met you? And I feel like Wendy was put in a position to be the work mule for her husband, and her family after they had the child. And I don't know, like, if it was both of them who wanted the child so desperately, but that's a lot. If she did not want to have a child as badly as he did, that sure is a lot to put your wife through, all those pregnancies and all those miscarriages, when you see that, it's a hard thing for her to, that carrying a child full term has been almost, impossible. But the dynamic of these women marrying the help, Kelly Rowland's husband is her manager. Mary J. Blige's husband was, her ex-husband was her manager. Was Jill Scott in that type of setup too, I believe. And it's like and I know that it must be hard, especially if you're a Black woman and you want to, because let's just be honest, people are checking for us as a collective less than any group of women. And then we're so race loyal. So like to find, someone who's making the kind of money you're making or more, I'm sure that it's hard for them to find like what society would deem as a suitable mate for them, just to find a man who's earning the same kind of way they're earning that kind of money or more. But still, it's like they go so far down. Oh, wait, hold up, Lady Equipped. You are equipped. She threw out the list. Nicki Minaj, Fantasia, Jill Scott, Jennifer Lewis, all married to help. Yes, you are equipped, Lady Equipped. And hi, Roxy. Okay, I didn't see you come in. And Lady B, did I say hi to you? Okay, so yeah, I hate that dynamic. And it seems like it took Mary J. Blige down. And now we've, seen Mary J. Blige go up and down with, what we assume was drug issues as well. Is this dynamic in general, just being the work mule for your family? Is that something that can take a mental toll on a person? Because I mean, not being the biggest Wendy fan, still seeing what she's going through is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. But again, like I said, some of it might be karma, because Wendy has talked about people at their lowest moments. And so is this a chance now for everybody to just pile on and talk about her? And so anyway, your thoughts on that, on the work mule syndrome with us?
Okay, so this might be a touchy subject for some folks, but one thing that I've noticed, the common denominator with all the women that were mentioned, and there was some that wasn't either. I know Toni Braxton was in that situation at one point in time. Halle Berry. There's been a few of them. Is when a women get to a particular age and they feel like that either they're running out of time, their biological clock is, ticking, and they feel like they don't have any other dating options. I think a lot of times people, especially unfortunately Black women, we go after, and not everybody, so I don't want to say, we're not all a monolith, but in those particular situations, it seems like they have had so many dating scenarios, and those of you that are familiar with Wendy, it seemed like that she was trying to date like Eric B at one time, and I'm trying to think what the other guy was, and they like clowned her publicly. And so I wonder if it's a self-esteem thing. I think that, getting to a certain point where you feel like you're not worthy of, finding a suitable mate, or waiting until that, that guy comes along that, fits all the, checks all the boxes and fits your criteria. I think there's a lot of people, I think celebrities, because, the spotlight is on them, we definitely see, you know, things kind of crash and burn with them. But I'm sure many of us know people in our whole lives, okay, that marry someone that's beneath their grade. So it can be anything from, you have someone with a doctorate and someone that's like a blue collar worker. You could have someone that I mean, it could be many things, or somebody that's very old, like older, and marrying somebody that's younger, and you be thinking like, okay, what attraction can you potentially have? Of course, the older person might have the attraction to the younger person, but what would it, vice versa? Is that a gold digger? And so I think that it could possibly be a self-esteem thing, because all the women that was mentioned have like publicly had issues with like body image, relationships. Like Fantasia, she's one that popped into my head. Fantasia reportedly tried to attempt taking her life at one point in time, during like prior to her meeting her current husband, when she was kind of in the scenario with the guy that was married in Charlotte. I don't know if any of you all remember that story in the chat, but I definitely think that is a dynamic, and particularly with Wendy. Back in those days, Wendy was a lot heavier, and Wendy didn't have all the makeup and all the hair and things like that. So she probably felt a particular way about herself too. And this man was just giving her a little more attention that she was getting before. So, in those cases, whatever you have to do to try to sustain that relationship, they'll do. I think a lot of times when I think of those scenarios, I think of it in the sense of somebody maybe having some dynamics with their parents, like having, an abandonment with their father and things of that nature. But Wendy has both of her parents, and they're very successful and have been married for a long time. So I don't know what her deal is, but I see you have a super chat, so I'll be quiet.
Hey, I told you that applies to me, but since I have the floor, thank you very much, Rashida Libra. I told our guests, for those of y'all who just came in, that everything stops when I get some money, but I did say that's when I'm talking, not when I have a guest. So, but I do always, acknowledge everybody, acknowledge everyone who gives me any money, because y'all know I'm just happy y'all are here. I'll never ask you for your money, but I will certainly take it, and I do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Rashida. But no, you don't have to stop. I'll catch them once you're done.
No, it's okay. That's important. So I will pause what I'm saying. What I'm saying for that. But like I said, I just think that it's interesting when we think about how much self-esteem and what we believe our self-worth is can affect us. And like I said, we're seeing it with celebrities, but you think like people that are very beautiful, like Kelly Rowland, like Halle Berry, you talk about people like flaunt over them, but seem to not be able in their romantic relationships to kind of keep it together. I think they deal with the same things that we deal with, but unfortunately, because they're in the limelight, and people start calling into question, what is kind of going on with them? Why can't you keep a man? And then again, it kind of goes along with this bashing too. So I think it's something worth exploring with each of us, particularly Black women that are unmarried, in the dating scene, of like, what are we allowing? in these scenarios? And are we allowing it because we feel like that we're getting to a point where is this supposed to be some sense of normalcy in order for us to be in a long-term relationship, or do we feel like our options are running out?
Yeah. When you say a little, you say a lot, my friend. That's yeah, that's a lot. And yeah, it applies to a lot more women than just Wendy Williams, you know. And but okay, let's take it back to Wendy now, since she's the topic. Um, Assuming that the rumors are true about Kelvin having physically abused her, and I tend to believe it. It just because of the pattern of everything that I've seen, kind of since everything came out with the other woman. It just seems like, you know, I mean, that is a form of abuse, just disrespecting her so openly and publicly. That is like emotional abuse to the, you know, highest degree. And so I do feel that someone who could be so cold could be physically abusive. And so, do those types of things, or do they have a possibility of staying with a woman resulting in something that could be some type of mental issue, even once he's gone? Because it's been a year now. And, you know, I guess like for a lot of people, they go through a divorce, even, you know, with all of those or many of the elements, you know, included in Wendy Williams' issue, but not publicly. I think obviously her being such a public figure takes us to a whole different stratosphere. But is that something that could possibly stick with her? Let's say that we know that he's emotionally abusive. We know that at the very least, we know he's disrespectful as hell, because we've seen him walking around with his pregnant girlfriend. We've seen the address that he, you know, for the house that he bought her, that was like darn near walking distance from where he lived with his family. You know, and everybody saw this. People who didn't know anything about Wendy Williams came to know about her because of this scandal, because everybody was covering this. So is that something that could stick with a person to cause some type of mental trauma after it's over?
Yeah, so when you think about traumatic experiences, it all doesn't necessarily come up for the person right when the trauma happens. A lot of times it can be a memory that can pop up later on in life. This happens a lot with people who were abused as children that might not have remembered details, but might have like vivid dreams later on. That's just an example. But I think with Wendy, there could be a possibility that she utilized substances as coping, like a coping, mechanism. Because one of the things I was thinking about too is, she mentioned when she was married to her husband that she really didn't have any friends. So, like, if you imagine a woman who is experiencing emotional abuse, financial abuse, that's a part of power and control. When you're teetering in front of somebody like, oh, well, I'm going to take our child, or, I'm going to take your money kind of thing. That's absolutely a issue of abuse as well. I think that she didn't have an outlet. She didn't have nobody to go to. Imagine like suffering in silence, being abused. I think that that's like a lot that people are, discussing right now because of the pandemic. Imagine like being home with your abuser and you can't leave because, of the crises in your state or whatever. But I think with Wendy, you being that much of a public figure, you've already, you've been in these streets bashing people. There are people that probably you on their hit list, like they see you out, you might catch these hands. And so imagine like all you do is go to work and then you come home and your husband out creeping, then he comes back and you don't have friends. All you see, I think she said her best friend was like a Regina or something. She comes every once in a while, and her parents. But you never hear about her interacting or having girlfriends or accountability partners prior to her getting a divorce. And then all of a sudden, when she get a divorce, she out here in these streets, she partying. All of a sudden, all these celebrities are her friends. I think that that's absolutely a sign of you know, feeling like you're breaking free in a sense. Like it's almost like when you turn 18 years old and you go off to college, like you feel like you are able to kind of do things you were never able to do. But I think that that's absolutely a sense of trauma, because even like her expressions, like sometimes she's very tearful. If many of you all, you know, catch her in certain stories, it's like she kind of drifts off. You know, she doesn't do after shows as much as she did before. You know, she portrayed herself as being very happy when, you know, the divorce was happening. And she made it public and even shading him quite a bit on the show as well. But I think that that's also a sign of being hurt. And I know many of us have probably experienced that too, when we feel like we've been betrayed, our trust is lost. The person we thought was our best friend and our partner has completely turned the tables on us. So I think it could be multiple things, but I definitely feel like that she might have used substances as a coping skill.
Okay. And then that was something that I wanted to ask about too. Oh, Mona Lisa's a Libra as well. Hi, all the lovely Libras, even though it's Scorpio season. Shout out to the Scorpios too. Shout out to everybody. It's all zodiac signs matter here. Okay. Um, but I wanted to ask, like, looking at her mannerisms, just in watching her talk for those few seconds that we showed on the clip, it looked like she was getting ready to cry. And she wasn't talking about anything, you know, but she looked very tearful, you know, and just, you know, bring up, I think she was talking about getting, you know, Rick Ross having called her is what she was saying. And, you know, it's like she's holding in so much pain. And okay, so then I have to ask, the people who might be around her, because I don't know if you all saw, I bet a lot of you have at least heard DJ Boo put out, I think it was an Instagram post saying that, or it could have been Twitter, I'm not sure, but saying that, you know, we were all going to know soon enough just what was going on. I believe that did he confirm that there was a substance abuse problem going on? But he said that, you know, we would see what was going on with Wendy and the victims at the show, and that he doesn't know why someone won't speak up and say anything. And so it just kind of seems like everyone around her is just like, girl, you got to keep working because we need this paycheck. That's what it feels like. And it feels like the network is not going to stop because we have you under this contractual obligation. We need a live show. So, you know, hey, y'all, I don't care. Y'all got to prop her ass up and just, you know, push her out. I mean, literally looking at her walking out and like kind of stumbling, it was almost like there was somebody like kind of pushing her out, like, oh, okay, like, oh, okay, let me hear. Hey, y'all, you know, and that's what that's looking at her. It's just like there are just people around saying, you got to work because we need this bag. And I feel like if she maybe didn't have people depending on her, she might slow down, you know, but I don't know. To me, it feels like at the very least that a break is in order. But what do you say to that?
So I believe last season was the first time that she had a break on the show, like outside of just the season breaks. So you think about somebody that's worked, I'm gonna estimate maybe 12 years or so, how long the show's been on, and you've never had a vacation, you've never had a sick day. And then all of a sudden, not only is your health declining, which again could be, you know, triggered by stress, it could be triggered by a lot of different things, but then you also have like this impending divorce. You have these rumors coming out, and I'm sure, you know, her staff members probably asked her too, kind of what's going on, particularly those that maybe have a little more insight into what's going on with, you know, the situation than we do. I think she can definitely be tearful. I know that there has been times that I remember when she used to do like the pre-shows. A few times she has like cried on there. She'd be like, ee! You know, like doing she'd be doing that little thing in the chair, you know. And I mean, listen, I think some things are kind of triggering her for real. And I mean, it's sad to say, but I think somebody also mentioned in the comments as well that her documentary is currently in the works. So that also might be a factor too, like just outside of her show, like reliving the stuff that has went on between her and her husband, or within like certain dynamics in her life.
She's working on her own documentary.
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's coming out on Lifetime, I believe. I think a few weeks ago she mentioned who was going to play her and Kelvin. So I don't know if it's currently in production or they just have the cast together. That part I'm not sure of. But I mean that can also be triggering some stuff too, because if you're on set and you're having to relive stuff or even write a script, that can definitely, bring up some memories too. But I absolutely think, kind of going back to what you were saying, there are a lot of people around her that will absolutely stay quiet because her working depends on their income, depends on them taking care of their family. And I'm sure when last year she had, whatever health scare or substance abuse, issue, a lot of those people lost money. And I'm sure that the production company is probably threatening to pull the plug on her show. And a lot of people are wondering, like, where's our next meal coming from? How we're getting income. So I think a lot of us, and I'm sure a lot of us have been through this as well, you'll be in a work environment that's toxic, but you don't have another option. So you kind of be like, I'm just going to keep my head down. I'm going to go in here, make this money, and I'm going to go home. And I think there's a lot of people that's like that. And there might be people that's fearful, because I think DJ Booth mentioned in his live that the people that have spoke up against it have been fired. So this seemed like there have been people over time that, maybe try to call her to the carpet or at least try to do an intervention. And when she wasn't for it, they would lose their job. So, I mean, I think that there could be some dynamics, but also I think there could be some people that's enabling her too.
I have to ask the chat, is there an Ava in here? Because somebody just sent me a very generous cash app. Is there, and I don't want to say the last name, obviously, but I don't see an Ava like in the comments. So that's probably, you probably go by a different name. But I always want to thank people when they send me something. And I started, leaving my volume on my phone so I can know. Just shout out to me who you are, because I don't think that there's some random person just sending me money while I happen to be on a live stream. So I appreciate that. I won't say the last name, but thank you. If you want to speak up. Hi, All Things Luxury. Thank you for coming back, and Beauty Bee.
I think it's Dee Dee. I think she said it's her.
Oh, I see now. Thank you. Thank you, Dee Dee. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay. Because I hate that all you can do is send these freaking hearts when you get a cash app. And I had been sending cash apps for the longest before I ever got one. And so I didn't know that, like, the first time I got one, I was like, oh, how do I say thank you? Like, okay, I see you can, like, you send all these stupid emojis, but I was like, I want to say thank you, and so thank you. I I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. No, go ahead. You were talking, so I wasn't going to stop you, but I was like sitting here like, who is that? And so, I don't know everybody who's in here. More people are coming to the stream, and I do appreciate y'all support just being here. Look, I'm not asking anybody for money. I was asking who sent some. This is not like, okay, now I don't see nothing from you, Roxy. No, this is not, send the money roll call. This is not, this is not that time at church. We need some money for the building fund, and ain't nobody leaving until we raise $500. No, it's not that time. But I was just trying to figure it out. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Back to Wendy. It's just like I said, I made it clear. I'm not a fan, but I don't like seeing anybody go through this. This is a bit much. Thank you, Merlo Vines. Thank you. She says she loves the way that I approach topics. Well, it helps when I'm talking about something that I have no clue, and we have somebody who can just guide the conversation, and I can just ask questions, which also you all can ask questions as well. I keep putting the stream in here, and so this is the stream. Is Yachika? Thank you, and let me know if I'm saying your name incorrectly. I see it as Yachika Manigault. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know. Yeah, Roxy, you always got me. I'm not asking you for anything. I was just playing. And hey, okay, we got another D9 sister up in the house. Roxy, yeah, I know, and now All Things Luxury, you telling me. And our guest here today. Any other D9? I know we got all the Libras covered, I think. But any other sisters in the house? Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much, Merlot. Okay, y'all, but anybody want to call in? Because I'm just kind of asking questions about things that I've been thinking about. Not, big fan of Wendy Williams and not someone who just stays on my mind, but when things come up, it's like, wow. And then, hearing about how badly the show went Friday just made me think like, wow, same time last year, she was, feigning on the stage. What's going on with this woman? Why is this a thing, for her? Oh, I got a channel member. Y'all, we have a new member to the royal court. Hello, my lady. We have a new member of the royal court. So thank you for joining my channel membership, and I'll look and see which level you joined, or if I owe you some things in the mail. But I will tell you at the very least, and Roxy and if Wings and Mumbo Sauce is in here, and Alethea, they can vouch. And American Copperhead, you don't get some good girl gossip for sure. We went 4 hours last night, and we talked about our okay. So our topic last night was about the ride or die trope that's given to Black women, and why is this a thing for us? When's the last time you heard a country singer telling a little white blonde haired girl that he needs a ride or die chick, and like, like, why is one of our options to die if we're going to be with somebody, right? And so we talked about that. Okay, we got Petty Beat coming on. Let me add her to the stream. And hi, Jordan Live. I'm about to add you, Petty Beat. But that's what we talked about for the first hour. And then the last 3 hours, we gossiped about everything that happened up in here last week. If y'all were here last Thursday, you already know what time it is. So let me say hi to Petty Beat. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. So I have a question, right? If DJ Booth he seemed to be really close with Wendy Williams, right? Why did he waited until he got fired for him to start exposing her? Like, I feel like a true friend would have never exposed somebody who was in need of help that would help them, instead of going to every different platform and trying to expose her. I'm confused.
That's a good question, and I only can speculate. I'm kind of trying to look at it from two sides. I wonder if maybe he did try to help her first, and she didn't accept the help, and so now it's just like, well, y'all know what? Y'all gonna see some more stuff. Maybe that's what happened, or maybe it's like you're saying, and maybe maybe he never really was her friend. I'm not sure. But let me see what DeShara has to say about that. But that is a good question.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm almost wondering, like, imagine not liking your supervisor at your job, and you're not gonna say you don't like your supervisor because you still need that paycheck. However, when you finally leave that job, you gonna have everything to say about how bad that experience was. But I'm also wondering too if he might feel some sense of betrayal, because he was on that show the entire time, and all of a sudden he was let go. Whatever she utilized, that he's no longer there, and kind of left him high and dry. So this might be his opportunity to, set the record straight about himself too. I don't know who knows, but I will be interested to see, going down the line, what else he says. Or like you mentioned, if he does any interviews and stuff. Now I know that he talked to one of the YouTubers that I watched, and she seemed to have a little bit more insight into the situation. Not very much, but they've at least had some conversations. But on his lives at least twice, he's kind of insinuated to some people being like quote unquote victims, and there's some other people involved, that type of thing. So you never know if it's he's kind of tarnished from the situation, or if he feels betrayed.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. It's just like if I feel like I consider you as my friend, like I will try and help you in private setting. It doesn't matter how much I'm trying to help you, you're not getting it. I was still trying to help you. I would never go on a public platform to like trying to expose you. For what?
Now, I understand you're saying that you would never expose, but and I don't know the history between Wendy Williams and DJ Booth, but sometimes people can try to help someone like for such a long time, and then they see that they're never going to accept this help from me. It might, but at that point, if you are a friend, you don't expose them. You might stop helping them and like maybe give them some distance and hope that they'll come around. But I do know that there are times when you try to help people, and especially if it really is some type of addiction problem, there's only so much help that a friend can do, especially if you're not any type of professional to deal with those types of things. But yeah, as a friend, you don't want to expose them. I do agree with that.
Right. I don't know. To me, the whole thing is fishy because he wants to tell all her business once he got fired. What's your motive? Nobody cares. Like if we're gonna help the lady, help her. I really don't like Wendy because I feel like she puts down a lot of African American women on her show. She never has nothing positive to say about us. So I don't really care for her. But I would never want to see somebody go through that. If you supposedly care about her, why would you demise her like that or expose her like that? I don't know. That's weird.
Sometimes people do that type of stuff as like a way of like crying out for help, because kind of what Ty was mentioning, unless you are ready to change, it doesn't matter what people try to do. And it seemed like he was insinuating on his live that he behind the scenes was trying to help her and, was kind of letting her know what was going on. But I also think too, and again, this is just theories, but if DJ Booth had some type of idea of what was going on behind the scenes where he knew she was getting abused, a lot of people, have like she's going through it, and well, let me not say anything. And I think a lot of us have probably experienced that at one point in time, or know somebody that has, where you don't want to directly ask them if something serious is going on. Like, you definitely, like, writing is on the wall for sure, because you don't know how to help them. And when you have someone that has that much money, they could do whatever they want to, but I also think too, when your job is in jeopardy for you saying stuff, a lot of people are going to, limit the amount of what they say. And then when they finally are free, unless he signed an NDA, which I mean, it sounds like at this point he might not have, because he's actually speaking, vaguely, but he's saying something. Then, he probably is just letting people know, what's up. So that's what I'm thinking.
I'll say one last thing and then I'll let you guys get back to your program. I feel like at the end of the day, even if he's trying to help her, he's going public about it. He's still trying to work in Hollywood or whatever. So a lot of people is not going to want to work with you because they're going to be scared that this dude is going to expose me once he gets fired or stuff doesn't work out. So, I don't know. I just don't, I wouldn't consider, if you're my friend and I hang out with you all the time, he was riding with her for so long, and then all of a sudden he got fired and he wants to go talk negative about her. I just don't like people like that. I can't, I don't respect a man that does that. I don't. But that's all I have.
I understand your point. I understand your point, and I appreciate you for being the first one to call in tonight. Thank you, Petty Beat. I appreciate that. I get your point, though. I do.
You're welcome. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
You too.
Okay, and I saw before we move on, I saw that someone asked. Let me move up. It was Rashida asked if DeShara has a page. Yes, she has a YouTube channel. I'm about to put the link back in the stream right now. Hold up. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is DeShara's channel. I'm putting the link in here. There. Okay, Ty said what Ty said. That's me. And that is her channel. And I believe that my moderators are putting her channel in there as well. So yeah, she has her own YouTube channel, and she talks about mental health issues, melanated mental health over there. So like kind of as it pertains to maybe Black people's specific needs. But I have looked at some of her work on that channel, and that's really the point of this stream, is to get focus on her channel because she's doing some great things over there. And yeah, and we appreciated her calling in on a stream a few weeks ago, giving us the down low on what's going on in Louisville after the Breonna Taylor verdict came out for those officers. And she was, really instrumental in giving us some information when I was reporting on that on a Sunday Funday live stream. So yeah, so we just had to bring her back. I didn't know that she had a channel at that time. So yeah, now we know, and now she's here. So anybody else want to call? And DeShara, let me know, because I asked you to come. I told you Thursdays we go for an hour. We're already over an hour. Do we have any more time with you, or do you need to get on to something else? You let me know.
Listen, I took a nap before this. I'm wide awake and ready.
I wish I had taken a nap before this. Well, do you still want to talk, Wendy? Do you want to talk mental health in general? Can people call with mental health questions in general, or how can we do this? Rashida says she can call.
Sure.
Huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if people have other mental health questions or whatever, now again, I'm not your doctor, but I can at least give some suggestions.
Right. Okay. So this is the link in case somebody wants to join. As you can see, you don't have to join with your camera on. If it's bonnet time, I understand. The only time I come on with my bonnet is for my members only streams. That's our little slumber party on Wednesday nights. But hey, if it's bonnet time and you don't want us to see you in your bonnet, it's all good. Just come in and join. Okay, we got Alethea. All right. See, she used to always be our first person to call in, but now that does not have to be her job. She already got 5 other jobs, so now she can take that off on her resume, being the first person to call on the stream. How are you doing tonight, Alethea?
I'm good. Yes, I'm retired.
Yeah, you need to get all them jobs.
So, what I wanted my little 2 cents in terms of DJ Booth, he's just an employee as far as I'm concerned. It was just a paycheck. He worked for Wendy and Nicki Minaj at the same time. Wendy always trashed Nicki Minaj. It must have been tough for him having to be in between these two women. And a few months ago, you know what? I can't even say a few months ago. He stopped working for Nicki at some point, not too distant. And I think it had something to do with him being in the middle of them two. Because Wendy does not take a break from dragging Nicki. Any chance she gets, she gonna trash her. She gonna trash her
Don't seem like
husband, whatever. So he was in a bad spot. Like, it's hard to be loyal when you're working for both of them. So I think there's much more to it. Also, the caller before, yeah, she's right. He's not a friend. He's an employee, because if they're working together for years and years, and they're not working together now for whatever the reason, there it's not a man type of behavior to want to go dragging, go saying things, even if it's subliminal, just making little comments. Like, he commented in the comment section, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, and that's where that whole victim, oh, I'm sorry for all the victims, for people to begin to speculate as to what Wendy is doing to people there. And then he's been backpedaling that, no, when I said victim, I just mean people who feel like because it went way left with all the speculations about the victim. Like, victim,
Right.
was she sexually assaulting? Is Wendy gonna get a Me Too? Like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
he was careless with that statement in the comments, and he was just looking for attention, and
Mm.
he's pissed, and he is not a friend. I don't think that he is her friend. He was just an employee, but just for a very, very, very long time. That's just what I think.
Okay. Hey, I mean, we definitely know that he was on the payroll, so he was an employee. Now, whether or not he was a friend, that's something we can only speculate. But you might be onto something. If you want to stay on, stay on. I'm going to bring up Jim Stone, and I want to say hi to Catherine Bent. Hi, Catherine. Thank you for coming and joining us. Let me bring up Jim Stone. Jim
unmute.
Stone, and I want to say hi to Catherine Bent. Hi, Catherine. Thank you for coming and joining us. Let me bring up Jim Stone.
Hey,
okay, Jim Stone, and I want to say hi to Catherine Bent. We have an echo, so I think if you have us on another device, mute it.
Hey,
okay, Jim Stone, and I want to say hi. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna mute you right now, and just be sure that you have your volume off on all your devices, and then we'll bring you right back up. Okay, so let's try it.
I did want to mention something that Alethea said, and I'm so glad to talk to you, Alethea. I think you are so gorgeous when you was on the camera with that beautiful skin. I was like, yes, ma'am.
Everybody tells her that. Yes.
Yes, I love it. I definitely think that you're right, and I think one of the things that a lot of people are forgetting too is Wendy ain't loyal to nobody.
Right.
So even if she tries to portray as if DJ Booth was her friend, like I remember when they went on hiatus, I guess for the summer, and all of a sudden DJ Booth and her was like hanging out, and she was almost like making it look like they were dating or something. And I think that could have been, a stunt, whether it was she wanted somebody to go back to Kelvin and say something to him or, whatever. But, you're absolutely right. I think that Wendy has crossed a lot of boundaries with people. I think the fact that she brought her personal into the workplace caused a lot of diffuse boundaries with people. But you're absolutely right, and I think he's also fabulous DJ too. And I remember at one point in time she actually made mention, like, he was doing too much with these other jobs. So there could have been a lot of factors, but for sure, when people are just getting paid, people just need to be mindful about employers, because I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that too on jobs where their employer tries, oh, let's go after work for drinks,
Right.
oh, come to our house. And that again start to create like this diffuse boundary with people too. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and in terms of that hiatus and her hanging out with him so much, um, before I came on here, people were in the chat saying that she's a kind of codependent type of person because she never did anything when she was with Kelvin. That was her world. She like work and home, doing whatever they do at home. So now she's accustomed to that. She's accustomed to having this partner. So he was just there filling a void, and everybody see her because she's like hanging out in OD since the breakup, and that's normal. That happens to people. I mean, that I've been in that position where you're in a breakup and now you just wanna be out there. But yeah, she definitely, it's more of a crutch. It could have been, like you said, to try to have Kelvin get the word, but I don't even know why she would do that, because obviously that man doesn't give a damn about her. So
Hang on just a second, because okay, so Rashida Libra, that is Gemstone who was trying to come in. And so if you have any, I don't know if you came in on a phone or on your laptop, but if you have StreamYard open, just only keep StreamYard open and cut off YouTube. And that should eliminate the echoing. Or if you have like two devices going, completely mute one and then call us back. But yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Alethea, you made a good point. That's definitely and employee. You know, like I said, friend maybe. At this point, it's kind of not seeming like it. You know, like they had a friendship with each other. And Wendy does not seem loyal to anyone. Not Wendy. What's her name? Nene thought that they were friends. You know, if y'all were watching Real Housewives of Atlanta last season, Wendy thought they were friends and was so happy to brag to the other lowly housewives that she had this talk show host friend. And Wendy, dragged Nene as soon as she got a chance last season and before this season starts. Wendy is no one's friend.
Yeah, with Andy Cohen when she did that interview. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty. So everybody knows that she is not a friend. I mean, he's been around her for decades, so I think it's decades. So you should know, you know. They said
Yeah.
keep your enemies closer, I guess. So I don't know. I wouldn't say enemy. Maybe I won't go that far and say that, oh, she's his enemy, but it was just a paycheck for him. That's just what I think.
Okay. Hang on, Alethea. Let me add Gemstone again and see if we got a good connection this time. Hello? Okay. Hang on, Alethea. Let me add Gemstone again and see if we got a good connection this time. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, hang on, Alethea. Let me add Gemstone again. You don't have the echo. Don't hang up. I'm gonna mute you. Let's try some things. Okay, so I don't know if you're where you can type and talk at the same time. Are you watching us from a phone or from a computer? Are you on a phone or on a computer right now? If you can hear that, let us know, because the echo is still very strong. I can hear myself before I can hear you. I'm going to unmute you now. Hold on. That, let us know, because the echo is still very strong. And there's lag time. They believe that there's like a 10-second lag time on StreamYard to YouTube. Okay, so let's see how. Hold on. And there's lag time.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. I'm
on StreamYard.
Listen.
It's okay. Okay,
I need to get one of my little nephews to come help me with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
It's all right. Don't apologize. Look, we appreciate you for calling.
My little nephews to come help me with it.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Okay. So I'm going to. I wonder
I
if
have
she
to
can hear
run.
us.
I'll see you guys in the chat.
All
Okay.
right, have a good
You sure
one.
do. Time. Okay. See you, Alethea. Okay. Let's see if we can bring Gemstone up. Let's see.
All right, have a good one.
Okay. So Gemstone, do you have us on your computer or on your phone? Either way, however you have us, are you able to just cut off YouTube? Because usually when the echo is that strong, it's usually because YouTube is also running in conjunction with StreamYard. Are you able to turn it off? Let's try that. Yeah, exactly. Roxy's saying that she still has something open or unmuted. So not quite Cocoa Butter. Barbie says Ty is becoming a regular IT guru and you're becoming a regular Eddie Murphy, because that's a good ass joke. I'm so far from an IT guru. Hold up, let's see. Oh, she hung up. Okay, so if she wants to come back, we can come back. Does anybody else want to call in and share an opinion about I was about to say Whitney Houston, about Wendy Williams, or have any mental health concerns you want to discuss with DeShara? And obviously you don't have to just do it tonight. You can go over to her own channel that you all have the link to now. Let me share that with you one more time while we see if anybody else wants to come. Let me get that link and copy that. Again, DeShara C. Doub, that is our guest tonight. That's the lady who you all say has the voice. It just sounds so sweet, and she has the information that we need to hear to get these minds right. That is the link to her YouTube channel. So please go and check her out. Support this woman. That is what this stream is really all about. And I see that some of you have supported. I see the number has gone up on her subscriber count since this stream started. We need to get that number up, because if y'all loving her, then y'all need to show her some love with that, hit that red button and then ring that bell so y'all know when she's putting something on the channel. That's how you show love until she's monetized. Then you show her love by making it rain over there. Okay. No. But yeah, please go and support this sister. Anybody else want to come up? Anybody else got anything to talk about? Oh, okay. We have a question. I don't know why Brenda won't call, but Brenda Holiday wants to know if you will explain post-traumatic syndrome.
Sorry, I forgot I put myself on mute. Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about PTSD, so I'll kind of explain that a little bit. Post-traumatic stress disorder. So commonly people assume PTSD only happens with people in the military, but it can honestly happen with anybody. So essentially, that person has experienced a traumatic event, and it doesn't have to be anything like violent, like what we would consider violent, such as, you know, hearing gunshots or witnessing a crime. It could be being abused. So that can also be a symptom of it. Again, it's a lot of factors. I'm hearing some echoing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay. So yeah, so it's a like a diagnostic criteria of how somebody can be diagnosed with PTSD, but essentially, like, you know, just in general terms, it's someone that experienced a traumatic event to the point that it's catastrophic to them. So like I said, most times people consider it when someone has went to war, and it could be, you know, nightmares. It could be, you know, a sensitivity to noises. It could be all types of things, but kind of in general terms, that's what PTSD is. Hopefully that answers your question. If you have another one, let me know.
Okay, let me see. Are we okay to? I get. See, you see how that is? Like someone will come up, and then like it changes everything. All of a sudden, we get feedback and echo, and then like I mute, unmute, and then it like goes away. It's so crazy. Okay. Okay, so Brenda says thank you for explaining that to her. So I guess she's satisfied with that answer. Do you watch Real Housewives of Potomac, DeShara?
Sort of, kind of.
Oh, because see, I wanted to know if you watch it. I wanted to ask you about Candace, because she says that she has PTSD from getting bopped upside the head by Monique. And I do think that she's being a little extreme, but maybe for her that was a completely traumatic event. I think that she's more embarrassed than anything. And I don't think she'd have PTSD if she would have won the fight. But that's just my non-mental health professional take on it. My profession is construction management, so so I can't say what truly goes on in the minds of people, but never mind. Oh wait, American Copperhead says, can people recover from PTSD without treatment?
I have never seen it. Typically people will have to go through extensive therapy and developing coping skills and strategies in order to be able to manage it. I think anybody can be able to manage a mental illness with or without like medication per se, but I've never seen it necessarily with PTSD. That doesn't mean that nobody has, but I just have never seen it before. Maybe because the people that I've experienced have had more extreme cases. So I would say more than likely no, but you know, you never know.
Gotcha. Okay, and Rashida, there's no actual phone number. It's just that link that I'm sharing. That's how you call in, and that's what we're saying, call in. But yeah, and we say that because most people don't come and put their faces up while we're here. I guess because I do it at night and people are getting ready for bed. I think that if I did these in the afternoon, like, you know, while people were at work and still kind of, you know, dressing up and moving, we probably have a few more people on screen. But, you know, nobody's trying to, well, I won't say nobody. Most people aren't trying to show themselves off in their bed clothes or, but we did get somebody showing us some sexy time last week.
Come on, 1-900.
We joked about that in the girls chat for the members only stream last night. We were getting body last week about this time. That was funny. But anyway,
Listen, it's stuffing season. They was trying to, market their services and goods.
Oh, now, okay, all things luxury. She called in. Yeah, but you ain't lying because okay, like a guy came up who I could tell some of the ladies in the chat were feeling, and then someone else came up and it was like, whoa, okay, titties, yes, all right, So anyway, so all things luxury though, they compelled her to call. She was saying she was too shy during the whole stream, but she called right before our final guest of last Thursday, and she told us about a personal situation. But before that situation happened, this is the question that she has, and it has something to do with that. She says how to process grief. She said, it's been 3 years since my mom was killed in a car accident, and I still can't process it.
So first off, I am. Oh, it's echoing just a little bit.
I'm muting.
Okay. I am really sorry for your loss, and I think that the fact that it was your mom also compounds just a traumatic situation to begin with. I think when it comes to grief, it really is around it takes time to process. So I would recommend you look up the stages of grief. And most people they might stay in a stage for an extended period of time, but some of them is acceptance, denial, bargaining. So I would recommend looking that up. But one thing I will tell you is to be kind to yourself and really take your necessary self-care, take vacations, do what you need to do to reduce the amount of stress that you have. Because particularly when it comes to holidays and when it comes to special things, it's always going to come up that absence of that loved one. So one thing I would definitely recommend for you is definitely look that up. And also, I know that there's been a lot of stigma around mental health. I know that people are talking about it more now because it seems like it's getting more, popular with celebrities and things like that. But one thing I would recommend to you is talk to a local mental health professional, because a lot of times in the Black community, we've been very much, we have to be strong. We can deal with this. And a lot of times there are just things that we are not going to be able to get over that hump until we're able to talk to someone else about it. So I will recommend that to you, but definitely grief does not have a time frame. So I will encourage you to, just take care of yourself, be kind to yourself. If you have support systems around you, good friends, if you have hobbies and things like that, do things that's going to nourish you and going to fill you up. A lot of times people do things that depletes them, that stresses them, and they don't do those things that re-energize them. So that's what I would say. But again, I would definitely, if you feel okay with that, talk to a therapist, a counselor. There's a lot of low cost offerings. Most people that work for major corporations have what's called an employee assistance program, which allows you to have between 3 and 7 sessions free. And they can even provide referrals and things like that too. So without knowing everything and not monopolizing a lot of time, I would definitely recommend those things for sure. And I'll definitely keep you in my prayers, hun. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, that is a lot. And yeah, my condolences too. And I see that that's something that I didn't know about Roxy, that her father passed away apparently 3 years ago as well. So my heart goes out to y'all. Wow, I did not know that. That's so yeah, I think that those are great suggestions. And I was not trying to be rude. My dog is rude while DeShara was talking to you, all things luxury. She Indy with her little crazy behind got up here. But that, to me, that's another suggestion, a pet. just they consume so much of your freaking time, but they are so freaking loving, you know, and uh, a handful, yes, at times, but sometimes, you know, it can be just what you need. And Rashida, okay, I saw you were saying you would call, but there is no actual phone number. And when I say, that's what I was saying earlier. When I say call in, I'm just saying, you know, use the link that we have for the stream, because we don't have you know, an actual phone line. And I say people call because most people don't come on the screen. But if you want to keep trying, that's fine. And we will figure it out. We will get through this together. Because if my mom could do it, because when I was doing test streams and my mom was having quite a difficult time, and Tosh Time from another channel came and helped my mom get it together, because I wasn't sure. It was my first time using StreamYard. And so we got my mom through it, then we can get you through it. And yeah, then I asked my mom about dating a bisexual man, and then she said hell no and hung up on me. So that was not her ministry apparently, and so she hung up. So and she hasn't called back since. So, but we got that phone line working though. We got it working. Let's see. But yeah, I think that those are great great suggestions, you know. And I don't know that you ever get over it, you know. I think you learn to better cope with it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not a time frame, and there's always going to be things that's going to trigger, you know, the memories, you know, and it can come when you least expect it. So I'll definitely encourage you, you know, to continue to just take your time and give yourself grace and patience. I did see in the chat when you mentioned about therapists. If you don't mind, Ty, if I address that.
Oh yeah, please.
So one thing I want to share with you all is, like, not all mental health professionals are created equal. A lot of times you have to go through a few to find the right fit. There are people that have certain specialties, but then also there are a lot of people that say that they do counseling-esque type things and might not be certified to do that. So one of the things I will tell you to look out for, most times when people call themselves a life coach, that doesn't necessarily mean they're a licensed professional. So definitely look into that. Pastoral counselors, there are people that actually go to school. That's a fun fact about me. I actually went to seminary, and that, so I have like that kind of dual background. But there are people that went professionally to have both the, you know, theological and the mental health. But there are people that are just theological, like they're just pastors, but they provide counseling because people, you know, open up to them. So they might not be able to deal with clinical issues. So one of the things I would recommend to you is a therapist typically have free consultations. If there is somebody you're kind of curious about, Google them, find out what they specialize in, what their credentials are, because that's very important too. But also ask if they wouldn't mind doing, you know, a 15-minute call with them, and ask them specifically, like, what, you know, what has been your experience with, you know, grief, or what's been your experience with divorce, whatever your issue is, because you'll be able to tell during that conversation if that person is going to be able to, you know, have that dialogue with you and be able to help navigate you through that. But that's one of the things I will tell you too, is, you know, just be mindful around people that, you know, say that they're there to support, you know, the life transitions that you're experiencing, because not everybody is educated and experienced to do that.
Did y'all hear that growling? That's my dog. I have two dogs here. He's not asleep this time. Usually they're like, who is that grown man snoring? No, it's like, it's my dog. There's no grown man. There's no ungrown man. There's no man in here snoring at all. Let's see. Hold up. Hi, Amazing Tribe. Thank you for coming in. And who else? Shar. Where did Shar go? I waved at you, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. Hi, Shar. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Okay. Anything else that you want to discuss with us, DeShara, or do we need to wrap it up? Now, oh, hi, B Baker. My member came in here. How? Oh, and my condolences to you as well, B Baker. She says she lost her father a few years ago as well. Thank you, B Baker, for coming, and my condolences to you. Yeah, that is, child. Yeah, let me not start crying up in here. But anything else? Does anybody else have any questions? Oh, okay. Here's another question from American Copperhead for you, DeShara, asking, what is the difference between therapists, counselors, and psychiatrists, and how do we know which one we need to see? That's a great question.
Okay, so a simple, just to keep it simple, psychiatrists prescribe medication. Some psychiatrists might not necessarily conduct therapy. So just keep that in mind. Most psychiatrists are actual medical doctors. So just having a theory with that. Counselors and therapists, it's kind of an interchangeable word with those two. It's just more around what their experience are. Counselors, sometimes you have to kind of look because they might have specialties. So it's like school counseling or, that. So you would just have to kind of look at what their background is. Therapist is something most times that are very specific. You actually go to school for a program specifically around therapy. That's how you could be able to tell. So you would look at whatever the person's license is. And in every state, you can actually look up people's license and they'll tell you what their specific specialty is. And that's typically how you'll be able to tell. But most times, people have to put that information out publicly. But that's just like a general term what that is. So psychiatrists, medical doctors prescribe medication, therapists and counselors, depending on how they were educated, it could be interchangeable title.
I'm fooling around.
Y'all so nice in the chat. I'm trying to like catch up with y'all in the chat. Y'all really sweet. I appreciate you all so much.
I appreciate y'all too. I have two needy dogs down here, so I'm trying to tend to them. Come here.
Listen, they soothing you.
I know they're the best. They are annoying, but they are the best as well. Come on, come here.
But yeah, I'm happy to come back because I like to get into the shits of things. So anytime Ty wants me to come back, yeah. I'm more than happy to. I'm typically in the chat talking mess. So I'm more than happy to come back. But like I said, I'm a person too. I want like to make mention of that. I just happen professionally to be in mental health, but all of us experience things too. I have my own days where I'll be going through it too. So, don't think that just because people are professionals in a particular field that they done figured it out, so, just have patience with yourself. And, all of us are going through it, particularly with the pandemic. So, that is something I did want to mention too. A lot of people, because we're in a pandemic, has a lot of things that are coming up for them, whether it's they're being triggered by things, they're dealing with, mental health concerns, just a lot of people are panicked, all those things. One thing I would do is definitely encourage you all to find support systems. I know a lot of us, depending on where we are, like I'm in Kentucky, and so like we still have mask mandate, stuff is still shut down to a certain extent. Definitely utilize your resources because right now we are in a time we have never been in before. And even professionals, whether you're medical, mental, whatever, none of us were educated to deal with a pandemic, so everybody is trying to figure out how to deal with this time. So one thing I would definitely encourage you all, particularly as we're getting close to the holidays, is definitely like up that self-care. If you like to do your nails, if you like to take bubble baths, if you want to engage in a ill-frequent wine ministry, whatever that is, binge watch a show, whatever, definitely do something for yourself as frequently as you can if it's not every day. Self-care is absolutely not selfish. So definitely make sure that, you're doing what you need to do to attend to yourself, particularly during this time, because we don't know when this pandemic is going to end. All right, that's all. I'm getting off my soapbox.
Now, I appreciate you for mentioning that, and I did not realize that I was bringing on a mental health professional who skipped the whole pandemic chapter in her studies. I'm so sorry, y'all. My apologies. Um, but but along those lines, can you tell us anything to help us get through seasonal depression? I know that I hear that's like a really big thing with the holidays coming, and some people are not necessarily being able to spend the holidays with family or loved ones.
Yeah, so seasonal affective disorder is actually it just happens a period of time during the year. It doesn't have to be necessarily triggered by anything. So it's more of just not having enough daylight, which kind of triggers those kind of depressive symptoms. So for many of us, daylight savings time is going to be ending on Sunday. So one of the things I will tell you is if you're one of those people that need light, that need energy, there's some things that you can find called, they call them sad lights, seasonal affective disorder, where you can turn them on. They're not like super duper bright, but they actually kind of provide that vitamin D that many people need, especially when it gets to winter time and we don't have a lot of sunlight in particular areas. There's some people that's blessed with that all year long, but that's something that could be helpful. If you're starting to find that your symptoms are increasing, that's when you really need to go see a professional, because a lot of times it could turn into other things. Seasonal affective just typically happens around this time of year, like when we're not having enough daylight. So like most of us, if it was like a per usual situation, we'll go to work in the dark and come home in the dark. And so nobody will have that opportunity to like be outside. But I would tell you, if you find that kind of happens outside of this time, definitely see somebody. But if you find that it's not something that you can cope with, definitely see somebody too.
Okay. Thank you for that. And Gemstone just tried to come back in, but she left. I put her on mute while you were talking, but then she left almost as soon as she came in. So are you cool with making this like an even 2 hours, DeShara, and giving us another 14 minutes of your time tonight?
Oh, sure. Anything for you, Ty.
Anything? Oh, yes.
Well, within limits, but I'm open to stay on.
Limits depress me. How do I deal with that? Okay, so
girl,
Jim,
you fine.
well, okay, so that's the kind of counseling you're gonna get. Girl, suck it up, you fine, ain't nothing wrong with you. So get ready. I saw All Things Luxury says she found her new counselor, so girl, I guess get ready for some tough love. Girl, you fine, ain't nothing wrong with you.
Now keep in mind too, in the spirit of complete transparency, you have to find out where people are licensed. So like I'm licensed in Kentucky. Like I only practice mental health in that area until, I get into other states. So if you are somebody that is like looking for some type of mental health professional and you need help trying to find somebody, I mean, I don't mind, giving you resources, and, if finances is an issue, I'll, point you in a direction of some, therapists that do sliding fee scales or have low cost therapy options too. So I don't mind doing that. But unfortunately, I only do Kentucky. So unless you live in Kentucky, I'll be able to help you. But if not, I'll definitely point you in the right direction for sure.
Okay, all my Kentucky people in the house, if you'll want a licensed professional, not like one of them life coaches like Nene went and got last season on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Girl, that girl looked a mess. I was like, now, okay, y'all need to stop with this life coach stuff. Like, clearly these are people, who their only qualification is that they can purchase an ad on Craigslist and get people to, to buy their services. That was a mess. I was like, okay, she's sitting up here feeding in the hurt, whatever. But anyway, American Copperhead asking, can you recommend any exercises for anxiety attacks?
I don't exercise physically. I exercise in my head.
I don't think she means physical exercise necessarily, just
Oh,
things that you can do. I didn't think she meant like burpees, girl. Do you
okay, because I was about to say, girl.
I got you covered there. 25 jumping jacks, 42 burpees,
I'm
and
like,
you're good. And
that is
run 2 miles.
absolutely beyond my scope. One thing I can
Well,
tell
at least we know she's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. She's not gonna
um
lie.
right. Well, one thing I will tell you really quick is breathing exercises is always helpful. So most times when people are experiencing high anxiety, most people have like rapid heart rate, not able to control your breath. So something really, really fast is if you can take very deep breaths. So most times I'll just tell people to like count to 5, inhale 5, hold 5, and exhale 5. And you won't do it super duper fast, like, kind of pace the breathing. Most times that's very helpful. They use that with people that have panic attacks and, all types of things. So I would say try that. But most certainly if you're having that very frequently, I would definitely like talk to your primary care doctor about that, because that might be something else. But typically most times when you're having any type of emotional moment, or what you classify as panic attacks, most times if you do things to control your breathing, most times you can be able to decrease the symptoms, at least temporarily.
Okay, and I'm loving the comments that I'm seeing, because people are saying that this is very positive. This live stream is very positive. I see Cocoa Butter Barbie saying that Kentucky is very lucky to have you. Come on through with a rhyme, and Kentucky is so lucky. I'm not mad about it. Let's see here. Thank you. Rashida says that she's glad that we met. Keep up the good work. Brenda wants to know, do you recommend meditation for depression?
Yeah, that's definitely an option too. I know people, depending on kind of where you are in terms of like faith, a lot of people have like their theories about meditation. I love it. And there's like some really brief ones. It doesn't matter like the time frame necessarily that you do it, but that's absolutely a good, they call it mindfulness. That's a good mindfulness practice to have, and it's healthy too. So for any of you all that's kind of curious about meditation, you can go on YouTube and just type in, meditation practice or whatever. They have some that, are just like mood music. They have some that's guided, which means somebody is telling you what to do in a calm fashion during some music. Listen in a calm fashion. But yeah, meditation is very good, and it kind of depends on what your lifestyle is, if you want to do it in the morning or at night or whatever. But anything that's going to be healthy and kind of put you inward into yourself and making sure you're checking with how you're feeling, and if there's anything going wrong with your body, such as meditation. A lot of people do yoga, have some other type of like spiritual practices. That's something that it definitely won't hurt, for sure.
I recommend petting the dog. This is really, really good for
Petting a dog is,
depression.
it's soothing.
For you and the dog. For you and the dog. And that's why she's up here. It gets annoying after a while, but yeah, at first it's very soothing. And it's more soothing when you're not trying to do a live stream and you don't have a needy ass dog. But she is sweet. See, get you one of these. Go to the pound, get you one of these. It's about to be put down, then you'll feel good because you saved a life, and then you got a little. And they know, they're so appreciative. Like when you bring them home, they know. So yeah, I would recommend one of these things. Here.
Oh, Rashida's saying that she's trying to get through on her cell phone.
Okay, and I'm not. There's nothing coming up right now on the stream for me to add someone. So keep trying, and we're gonna be here at least another 7 minutes. Let's see. Yes, Roxy, good suggestion. Another dog mom. Roxy saying, if you don't want a dog long term, foster a pup. Always a good suggestion. You know, I love the animals. I love the babies. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes, Brenda. I'm sorry, Tammy. That's my baby. Yeah, Brenda. Brenda said that's my sweetness, my little doggy. And Tammy's like, oh, puppy, that's my baby girl. But they make you feel so happy, and like if you ever feel, I don't know, like unappreciated, underappreciated. These dogs, like literally, I can leave for 15 minutes to run to the post office, and I come back, and it's like I've been gone for 12 days, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, right," you know, like yeah. So for real, I was like, "Y'all, I was just here, like calm down." But every day, it's like like I've been gone for hours when I leave them. It's crazy. They just throw a party every time I walk in the door. It's so funny. Let's see here. Um, Anything else? Okay, so we got about 5 minutes to go. Hopefully we'll get that call from Rashida, Gemstone, Rashida, and we'll see. But we're kind of just hanging out. But again, while we're doing that, and y'all are showering this woman with these compliments, and you know you love her advice, do not forget to go to her channel. I'm going to give you this link one more time. This is probably the last time that I will have to put her information in the chat. But we're talking to DeShara C. Doub, and she's giving us mental health information. Now, we were talking about Wendy Williams at first, and just the things that we speculate still, you know, going on with her. But it switched over just into people in the chat asking what is going, you know, personal mental health related questions, right? And y'all are loving the information. This is a licensed, degreed mental health professional, not some, you know, VH1 hired, Bravo hired life coach, you know, rinky dink, whatever, got their degree from Kmart coach. This is a mental health professional who's just giving us tips to help us get through. So we have Elle coming up. Let me see. Maybe this might be the last call unless we get Jim. If we get Gemstone, I'll just put you on hold and let's wait for Elle to finish their call. Hello?
Hi.
Elle? Hi, how are you
Can
doing?
you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very clearly. Doing well.
Okay,
Thank you.
I know that we're talking about women and mental health for the most part, but my question is about a teen.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a teen in my family who was recently discovered to be cutting. And we don't really know what steps we should take because he's already in therapy for the cutting. And the therapist says that this is like a release for him. And so it's kind of getting concerning because not only the thoughts of hurting themselves or the actions of hurting himself, but because the therapy isn't helping the cutting to be prevented. So do you have any tips, DeShara, that we could use, or is this something that we need to like take him to the hospital to get medical help for? Do you have any tips for that?
Sure. Well, thank you for asking that. So, yes, cutting can be a mechanism for self-soothing for people. So you would have to ask that person, are they trying to mutilate themselves versus if they're trying to soothe themselves? So it's a lot of theory around self-harm, but it's a specialty area. I'm not even very familiar with it. I mean, of course, when you're in school, you kind of, run the gamut with things. I will probably say, look at the mental health professionals in your area. There are people that specialize in self-harm. I don't know if that's necessarily the therapist that you're currently seeing, but I will definitely look at that. Kind of what was mentioned earlier. Everybody that just does mental health services are not created equal, and not everybody can be able to handle certain issues. And so I would recommend, if you're not satisfied with how that person is treating the teen, I would definitely look somewhere else. If that teen still has a pediatrician or has a primary care doctor, I will reach out to them as well. Because most times they can work in conjunction with mental health professionals. Like, say, if there's like additional treatment that's needed, if they have to go as far as doing medication, if the teen needs a mentor, whatever kind of treatment options that they can have, I would definitely, if you can in your area during the pandemic, if you could schedule a doctor's appointment with like I said, a pediatrician or a primary care doctor, I would recommend that. But for sure, if you are not satisfied with that therapist, you can absolutely get another therapist for sure, and make sure that that person has a specialty in self-harm.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you for calling. That's a serious,
Bye.
serious
Oh,
topic.
bye.
Thank you for calling in. I hope that y'all are able to get the help that he needs. Do you mind my asking, how long has the teen in your family? Oh, she's gone already. I was curious as to how long he had been in counseling, and I wonder if something like that, does it just take time? Because I'm sure that the family probably feels like time is definitely of the essence if that's something that he's doing to himself. But yeah, I'm glad that she called though. And oh, okay, she's back. Hold up. Hi, Elle.
I'm
Elle.
sorry, Ty.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just curious to know if you felt like telling, or if you knew how long the teen in your family has been in counseling, because I was going to ask DeShara if this kind of counseling is something that just takes time, but I'm sure that you all feel like you don't really have a lot of time if this is something that he's doing that's harmful. I know time is of the essence. So I was just curious to know how long he's been in counseling.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. He's been in counseling for 1 month.
1 month. Okay.
So one thing I would tell you about counseling is, I think a lot of people expect results to happen fairly quickly. And depending on what it is, you might get a breakthrough in therapy the first session. It might take 14. I would definitely say, like, take some time with that. But for sure, if you're concerned about something, definitely make sure that provider has some type of experience with that particular issue. And if they don't, particularly because you're concerned about it right now and it's something that's actively going on, definitely look at some other options. And like I said, a pediatrician or a primary care doctor can for sure point you in the right direction. But one of the things when it comes to any type of counseling, it's definitely not a quick fix. Like, it's something that takes some time. So that's just one of the things I just want to encourage you and other people too. Because I think a lot of times when we go to someone, we're in high crisis and we want something to be fixed right now. But a lot of times it's not that easy, because you didn't get in that crisis that quickly either. So a lot of times, essentially what counseling does is provide you coping skills and being able to address what has caused you to be in this particular place in your life. And that could take time.
May I ask you, Elle, is the family in counseling with the teen, or is the teen in counseling sessions by himself only?
Just the teen.
Okay. Does he are you all able to ask him how his counseling sessions are going, or if he feels that he has a connection with his counselor?
No, he actually does not, and he feels like it isn't helping, and he actually would like to switch counselors. So we're having to look for a different counselor at the moment.
Okay. I was wondering. Well, I hope that you all are able to get him the help that he needs. It sounds serious, but it sounds like with him at least saying that he wants a new counselor, it sounds like he wants the help. So I think that that's a really positive thing to hear coming from the team. So I hope that y'all just keep hope and keep looking. And I love hearing DeShara's tips because you don't necessarily, if this is not something that you've been used to or that you're trained to do, you don't know to look for someone who has, these certain, specialties in their field. So I hope that you get the help that you need for your team.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Of course, have a good one. Best wishes to you.
Oh, that's serious. That's serious. Let's see here. Thank you, DeShara, because this is like really helping people, and I see that y'all are going and subscribing to the channel. We all need, help sometimes. And in parting, I guess, because now we're over our 2-hour mark, unless you want to keep going. In parting, can you give us just your thoughts on the mental health stigma with Black people in general and how to get over that? Because oftentimes, I think a lot of us are used to just hearing, just pray about it, and sometimes it's beyond matters that are beyond prayer, matters that, need prayer and a mental health professional, and it does seem like Black people have an issue going to seek help, And so can you tell us what your thoughts are on that?
Oh man, that could be a whole show. But in a nutshell, I think it's a cultural thing because I think depending on what region you're in, depending on if you were raised in certain settings or if you had like a multi-generational household, therapy was not something that was accessible to a lot of people. Like even like in our parents' generation, a lot of people didn't have access because it's a privilege to be able to get, services. So I think that that's one of the things. I also think too that in our community, what happens at home stays at home. So the fact of like talking to someone that's not in your family, that does not know you about your personal issues can be concerning for people. I think a lot of times there's been a lot of conversation around finding professionals, and it's not necessarily just mental health, but it could be, like medical doctors and things like that look like you, that kind of understand your culture. That can also play a part too, because a lot of people have been, mistreated in systems. So, they can already have concern of that. And then the other final thing I will say, because I ain't gonna go on a tangent because I could, but
Okay.
as a community, we have been abused by the medical system. So if you think about the Tuskegee experiment, if you think about Henrietta Lacks, we can go on and on and on and on.
Yes,
a lot of people do not trust the medical profession. And again, people don't know the difference between psychiatrists and counselors, like in the general sense, and they all will lump them together and then subsequently say, well, I ain't going to that doctor, or that's just like people going to get a physical. A lot of times you're having to like force people, or people don't go to a doctor until something is extremely severe. So I think that is primarily, at least in my experiences, why our community particularly has had some stigma around it. But how to get over that hump, I think one of the things is definitely look at mental health professionals that look like you. I'm not like a rarity, like there are people that are just like me, probably in your city, that just have private practices or happen to be in your local community agency or whatever the case is. So I will definitely encourage you all to start looking into that. And then also, I think that we are so accustomed to being strong and we're super women, or we're overcomers and all those things, and we absolutely are. But I think that we as a community are not accustomed to addressing issues when they come, because that takes vulnerability. That takes even you having to admit some wrongs. You're having to name some things that a lot of people don't want to name, and it can definitely bring some, skeletons out of your closet, essentially. So, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is people are never going to heal until they actually address things. And a lot of times that takes courage to do. So, one of the things I would just recommend is, if you think that there are some things that are blocking you or barriers for you moving forward in your life in any particular way, address that, and address it right now. This is more perfect time than any, to address whatever setbacks, whatever concerns that you've had, because you don't never want to enter into another situation or a chapter in your life still harboring things from your past. And then again, it's definitely a benefit for a lot of people to find therapists that look like them and are in their culture. Sometimes men don't want to see women, they want to see another man. That can be important, and vice versa. So that's I guess, to wrap it up in a bow. That's what I would say in terms of why it seems that mental health has been a stigma.
Got it. No, I appreciate it. Well, I guess we'll go on and end it for tonight, y'all. Thank you very much, DeShara C. Doub, for coming and being our guest tonight. Thank you for all of the advice you gave us. Now, this was fun. Who do we have? DeShara and Wendy. This was fun. I enjoyed hanging out with you ladies tonight, but I enjoyed the advice, really, that you gave the people in the stream tonight, and I didn't know that the response would be so great. We know that there's a need, but it's something that, I know, like, we don't know each other, and so it's not necessarily something that people feel comfortable opening up about. Maybe we've heard someone's voice or seen someone's face come on here, and so it's not necessarily the easiest thing to discuss, in this type of setting, in a group setting. And but you make it easy. You're very easy to talk to. So yes, your clients are lucky to have you. Kentucky is lucky. Whoever it was who said that, shout out to you. I forgot who said it.
That's so nice. But what I do have to do a disclosure real quick, because I want people to remember that, I'm only giving advice. I'm not giving you like medical treatment, just because I don't know your situation. So you can take what I'm saying as advice, just like people Google, things. But I would definitely recommend, if you find that is a severe issue for you, or that's something that you want to attend to in a meaningful way, definitely contact someone in your local area. Don't utilize me as, like I'm the, end all be all with what I'm saying. I'm just providing some suggestions to you, and I'm not necessarily providing you therapy, because I'm not your therapist. So I just wanted to put that out there just as a disclaimer.
Absolutely. I should have had that scrolling at the bottom of the screen as well. But we do appreciate the advice, and it's advice, like she said, like anything that we could Google, But we have, you here, and we're thankful for the advice you gave us tonight, and we'll use it as such. We won't go making any, claims that you are our therapist. Then, my therapist, DeShara, said, whatever. So with that, we'll log off. Thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight. I appreciate you all so much. And I want to see if we could get Jim back up here, but it looks like she probably won't bother calling in. But thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, participating in the chat, sharing so much private, personal information with us. I appreciate it. And I am off tomorrow. I will be on Jay Moore's channel, Jay Moore, who has been coming here, Jay Moore Review. I'll be with him tomorrow night. So he comes and supports here, and his people come here and support. So if y'all want to go and support Jay and I on his channel tomorrow for the Friday night bus, we'll be there. This is my Sunday off, first Sunday. Y'all know I'm off for Sunday Funday. This is literally my only day of the month off. So I'm off, and I'm like so excited. And thank you, Tammy, for being here. I appreciate you all. And don't forget, go and see DeShara on her channel. I'm put it in the stream one last time. for your mind. For real. One time for your mind. One last time for your mind. Get it? Okay, there's her channel. Y'all go and check her out, and yeah, subscribe to her. And she's got some more melanated mental health things going on her channel, and she'll be back here, I'm sure. I mean, it's great here. Like, why wouldn't she come back? No. Okay, and that's all that I got. So with that, I want to thank everybody again, and I'm going to count it down from 10 and sign off. DeShara, if you'll stay, I'll talk to you behind backstage. Okay, I'm counting
Oh,
it
for
down,
sure.
y'all. I love y'all. Good night. Do you have any closing words for everybody?
Be well. Love y'all. Tell somebody you love them.
Yes.
We
Amen.
all going through. So, I'll see y'all in the chat next time. We're going to be cutting up per usual.
Exactly. Thank you, DeShara. Okay, y'all, I'm counting it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hopefully we get Jim in next time. Love y'all. Good night.